Welcome in, everybody, to another episode of 410 Sports Talk. James Haskell, Glenn Martin, DK in the background, as always. And we're here on a playoff week. It is week one of the NFL playoffs, wildcard weekend. I have to admit, Glenn, of all weeks in sports, this is one of my favorite. And a lot of people like the Super Bowl. I know a lot of people like championship weekend. The really cool thing about wildcard weekend is it's not just two games.
Yeah.
You get 6 really good football games for the most part. Every once in a while, you get a blowout here and there, if I'm not mistaken. Then the Cowboys get destroyed last year by the Packers.
At home at the youngest team in the league, yes.
Yeah, so you get like some lopsided ones every once in a while, but usually you get a surprise or two, and usually they're all close. So I'm excited for this weekend, and of course excited about the Baltimore Ravens. So we're going to talk about that. We got Coach Evans hopping in from Sip to Tally. We're really excited about that as well. But before we dig into all this awesome stuff, let's give a shout out to our sponsor, BetOnline.
Yeah, and BetOnline continues to be the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting in 2025. Whether you're a seasoned fan or a first-time bettor, BetOnline is your ultimate game day companion with the largest selections of odds on everything from football to NBA, college basketball, NHL, or UFC. BetOnline is the number one sports betting source for the new year. From touchdowns to three-pointers and hat tricks, BetOnline has you covered in every game, every play, and every win. BetOnline, the game starts here. And Jimbo, I don't know if I've ever been – I mean, I say this all the time. I say it every time, but I don't know if I've ever been as excited about this game right now. I mean, it's crazy to think that the Ravens have never hosted the Steelers for a playoff game, and that's certainly adding to it. But just to know that we're back in the tournament, baby. We're back competing for the ultimate goal is man, it's a good feeling, Jimbo.
Yeah, 100% with you, Glenn. And I think we're a different team going into this one. If just looking at this regular season, like forget the other seasons and all the experience mounted on, just a quick update. So I recently started running with a kid that is 25 years old. He is the age of my nephew. He's 11 years younger than me, right? No, 9 years younger than me. Sorry, my math is terrible. But I started realizing, like, this kid is physically more gifted than me. But I did notice that experience has value. I really started to realize that you can't just physical your way through everything. I was thinking about this morning. He texted me last night. He's like, yeah, let's do speed workouts. Dude, there's 2 inches of ice out, 2 inches of snow outside. Maybe let's not do speed. Let's do some hills, right? Like, let's do something else.
A hill, Jimbo? You mean
Patterson Park? Park. Okay. Yeah, so let's do some hills. Let's do some other stuff. Anyway, I'm saying all this to say the Ravens now are not just a young, super talented team. Like, even if you just take this regular season, this is a different, like a grizzled, battle-tested, not a perfect team. But dang it, we are an incredibly talented team with a high ceiling. In a lot of ways, we're well-disciplined, except for the penalties. But, dude, to your point, Glenn, super excited about this one. It feels different to me than the other ones, where I felt like we were the young boys coming in, and now it's like we're lining up at the line with a couple scars, couple bruises, you know what I mean? Just like ready to rock, right?
Yeah, definitely not a young, inexperienced, wet behind the ears team. This is a team that's been through the trenches, had some tough losses, and I think it's going to pay off for this run. But look, we're excited to get into this show and talk about some of what we kind of review, some of what happened during the regular season. Of course, talk about the matchup upcoming. And then also I'm really excited to get Coach's opinion on a lot of what he's seen and some of the maybe strategy or personnel usage going into the playoffs. So without any further ado, I think we have to bring in our guest and friend of the show, Coach Evans. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Appreciate you as always. How you doing?
I'm fine. How about yourself?
Doing well. Excited. I mean, it is as cold. I don't know how cold it is where you're at, but it is so damn cold outside, Coach. It's
37.
Unbelievable. 37?
Yeah.
Let me see. Right now it is 30, but it feels a hell of a lot colder.
Yeah, guess what the feels like said this morning when I went out to run?
What's that?
3 degrees.
Yeah, it's.
And you didn't turn around?
No, look, I had somebody waiting on me, so I wasn't going to be the one to wimp out.
No, can't do that. Got to get out there, but that is ridiculous, Jimbo.
Yeah,
Although I was sledding yesterday. Let me tell you.
And it was freezing yesterday, too.
Whew. It was rough, but it was a good time. A lot of laughs. Hurt my back. Sledding. What am I thinking? I'm getting too old for this. But, Coach, I quickly want to get just your take on the Ravens, kind of the regular season that is now done and gone. The Ravens cinch up the AFC North. They win the division, which is really step one on all their goals list, is win the division and then take it from there. What do you think about this team as far as comparison to maybe last year at this point? Mm-hmm. Do you feel any different? Do you feel better? Do you feel what's your take on this year's Ravens?
I feel like this team is battle tested. The schedule, not schedule, the records, not as good as it was last year. We've had a ton of adversity. We've had a ton of ups and downs. Started 0-2, lost to maybe the best team, and then lost to probably one of the worst teams. Figured that all out and got to this point. So I think this team is really battle tested. The one thing that I think most of us all felt like we didn't have last year, we now have that. And so hopefully, we'll go on this run where, we finish in second week of September. But I'm really impressed with starting 0-2 and being in this position, no matter who, because a lot of us harp on Harbaugh, but to start 0-2, and I don't know what he did or how much is it his blame or whatever, but he's the head coach. So when he gets the negative stuff, I want to praise him for getting that 0-2 team back to this position, even though he still had brain farts during the game. But as a really, it's really something to look at when you start 0-2 and then to still be in this position as one of the best teams in the NFL at this point.
Yeah, no, Coach, that's a really good point.
Now you're too low, Jimbo. Go back up.
Too low. Okay, I was wondering. Yeah. How's that?
That's better.
Yeah, I was wondering what your thoughts were on this team moving forward, because I feel like we've kind of gone, yourself included, I think all these Ravens fans, we've gone like back and forth this year about how we feel about the team, right? And to John's credit, I think he's shown in the past, like I talk about this all the time. Obviously, the Cam Cameron move in, at that point in the season was a big deal. The Bryant McKinney insertion into the lineup, that was a big deal. And I feel like this year he's found a little bit of that magic again. Magic, I don't know if that's the right word, but like he's executed on the right decision on the fly mid-season with the defense to kind of shore things up. So to Glenn's point, where are you now, in your confidence in this team to make a late run? I know this feels different. They feel a bit more battle tested. You think we got as good of a chance as anybody else in the AFC, or do you have some reservations?
I don't have any. I think we have, like, if Zay don't play in the past, we probably would have panicked. I haven't seen anybody panicking about, whether Zay's going to play or not, because I think most people, and I feel this way, I feel like we have enough to get to the February. I feel like we got enough. I feel like we can beat any of the teams that we've beat every team that we, in the playoffs, but KC. We was a toe from beating them. And I think I'm sure they've gotten better, but we're a completely different team from that night. And so I think that we have all the tools to move forward, and every team has some weaknesses somewhere, and we're no different. But I think if the coordinators do a good job of trying to cover those weaknesses up, we should be good with the playmakers that we got. And, if everybody else just do their job, then playmakers it'll pop out.
Now, let me ask a quick follow-up to that, Glenn. I have this nightmare, Coach. I need you to help me, Glenn and Coach, bring me back off the ledge of a stat line coming up across the screen. I guess we'll be at the game. So maybe, a stat line coming up on the screen. It's like halfway through the third quarter, we're down by like 7. And it's stale. The offense has been stale. And Derrick Henry's got 4 carries for 8 yards. And he's just standing on the sideline, just standing there, right? Resolute. And people are booing, right? Like last year, but worse almost. Oh, yeah. Should I not be concerned about that?
Hey, if that happens, it's going to take more than Mr. Steele to get John up out of that about the M&T Bank Stadium. Oh, yeah. If that happens, them people going to go nuts.
We gonna be one of them people. Let me tell you,
because y'all gonna be out there.
Yeah, you coming?
No. Every time I come up there, I get stuck. I came there 3 times and I've got stuck 3 different ways, whether it's by snow, airplane acting stupid, or just in general. So I go to most. Not most. When I try to go to away games. I want to see different stadiums too.
Yeah, no doubt. And
I plan on going to Miami next year.
A little bit different weather there. And there is some expectation of precipitation this Saturday. Possibly could be a snow game. So, absolutely can't wait. But I quickly wanted to throw this up and talk a little bit about before we turn the page completely to the wild card weekend and talk a little bit about what we've seen from this team throughout this season. And I got to ask the question because I don't know. Maybe I should ask ChatGPT if this has ever been done. But quickly wanted to just talking about the offensive side here on the left. Finished third in points at 30.5, at first in yards at 424.9. But the big thing I want to talk about, which I think is just absolutely unbelievable, has there ever been, and Lamar himself is, and we're going to get into the birthday guy here as he turns 28 today, and we're going to talk about how that's another connection to how this could be the perfect third Super Bowl for the Ravens. But this is the thing that really blew my mind. The Ravens and Lamar Jackson individually finished the year as the number 1 yards per rush and the number 1 yards per pass. So Lamar accomplished that individually, and the team accomplished it as well. Coach, can you recall, like, how hard is that to be that good at both aspects of the game?
It's a testament to the gravity that Lamar brings, and he's gotten better every year. And the cherry on the top of it was him being a better passer, which everybody harped on for years and years ago. But now the fact that he can throw it, he really has little to no weakness. The only thing I think can really stop him is like a windy game where his balls don't come out, they come like ducks or whatever. And I saw a couple of those this past game, but they still got where they needed to be. But like, he is something that we've never witnessed before. And the fact that as he slows down, if he slows down, his arm and his IQ will get better. So he could be doing this for another 10 years because he's already showing signs of, okay, I ain't got to run. I could just, bounce around in the pocket and wait for my guys to get open. That's a level of maturity that normally comes when your legs don't work. He's found it while his legs still work. And he's just something like none other. I'm glad he's on our team because I'd be really upset if I had to go against him.
Seriously. Well, and I'll tell you what, Lamar not only is getting more mature, he also posted his fastest run of his career this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just, wild to think about. Now, Glenn, I did ask ChatGPT your question. Okay. Take it with a grain of salt, but this is what it says. As of the 2024 season, no team has ever led the league in both passing and rushing yards per game. That's the stat you're talking about, correct, Glenn?
No, yards per carry and yards per attempt.
Oh, okay. All right. Let me rephrase my question then.
Yeah. Get back to chat GPT and see it. But I mean, it's just absolutely insane. We talked about for years in Baltimore how, we got a good run. We got a good run game. And at best we could maybe manage a middle of the pack passing attack, but never did I think that the Ravens would have an offense that could lead both categories. And then of course, it's not so. It doesn't do a ton of justice throwing up these stats when you talk about what the defense has done, because so much of this year was them digging out of the hole that they dug themselves into to start the season. But the fact that they finished top 10 in points per game allowed after the start and top 10 in yards, I mean, it just shows the run they went on in the last 6 to 8 weeks of the season. It was absolutely unbelievable. I mean, they were dead last or 31st in a lot of these categories until that change happened. And Coach, so I saw Redbeard say it earlier. Jimmy talked about those crucial moves that we've seen in years past when we won the Super Bowl, the McKinney change, the Cam Cameron change. Redbeard mentioned in the chat, do you put the Marcus Williams move up there with those changes in years past?
You have to. Because before that move happened, the actual number was 299.7 yards per game. The last I checked, we still were 31st. The last I checked, I hadn't checked this week yet, but that number had dropped 40 yards, and that's how bad we were. Other teams were 40 and 50 yards below us. For us to improve as much as we did the last 7 to 8 weeks and still only get to 31, 32, 31 to 30. But the thing that matters to me was the number of yards that came off the average. At like 40 yards came off the average. And I think
that's crazy.
I think we got to 30, and that's impressive because we were really giving up 300-400 yards a game to people. Like the game Chase had, other people had yards too. The big game Chase had. So
did they? Damn. Because that son of a gun had enough for himself. But yeah, you're right. Those other guys were out there doing it as well. But man, it's just fun to watch this team playing so well on both sides of the ball, man. It's awesome.
It's great. It's great. And I think it's the best part about it to me is it's a lot of what we expected. Like there's no crazy surprises that now Darius Washington certainly, I don't think we imagined him contributing in the way he is this year.
Mhm.
Not that we didn't think he had the ability to. We just assumed that Marcus Williams was the guy and that was going to be what it was, right? But outside of that, I mean, we're simply executing. Like Zay's having the type of season we would expect him to have. Mark Andrews having the season we would expect him to have. Bateman has taken a considerable step up, that's for sure. But I don't think anyone doubted his talent as much as they doubted his ability to stay healthy. Right. And the lack of Lamar and his chemistry more than anything in previous seasons, right? But we always thought the talent was there. So the other one, I guess the offensive line obviously has incrementally improved throughout the year for sure. My man Falele becoming a Pro Bowl alternate. Not a surprise to me. No.
Oh my God. I thought you were about to say that, Jimbo.
No. But I do want to go back to your question, Glenn. And this is based on an updated search. It says, as of the 2024 season, no team has led the league in both yards per carry and yards per completion in the same season. However, individual players have been able to do that. Lamar Jackson did that himself personally, yards per carry and yards per attempt in 2019. But
did he really? I didn't know he did that. Wow.
At 6.6 yards per carry and 8.2 yards.
He had 1,000-yard rushing that year.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, 8.2 yards per.
I mean, how can you be more of a weapon? He is, I mean, it's just he's Shohei Ohtani in a lot of ways, as far as the dual threat that he presents is it's crazy. And then when you look here at the numbers, I mean, we couldn't get a 4,000-yard passer to save our lives here. And the fact that he does that in addition to all the other things, it just makes it look effortless. 66.7 completion percentage. Like, I remember when completion percentages to get to this number was like unheard of. It's just crazy. And then 41 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions, a 119 rating. Absolutely incredible season for him. And then goes on to add another 915 yards on the ground. Another 4 touchdowns, 6.6 a carry. I mean, Jimmy, you said it, man. I mean, he's the greatest football player that has ever put on a pair of shoulder pads, Jimbo.
Yeah. I mean, think about this. If you take away everything from a football team and you only have one human to start your team, I know everyone wants to say Mahomes, this guy, that guy, you can go back in history. But think about it. You got a bad offensive line, Lamar Jackson can still produce. You got no weapons on the outside, Lamar Jackson can still produce. I don't think you can say that about the other quarterbacks the same way Lamar can do it in the history of the NFL. Like, I just don't think you can say that. I think that's objective. Could you imagine Patrick Mahomes with a terrible offensive line and the refs?
Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's fair. But I think that if situations were the same for everyone, if somehow you could simulate that, I think, far and above, Lamar would be the most valuable singular, player that you could ever have in football. I mean, it's just insane.
Because he can right so many wrongs.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, Glenn used to say it. He's the reason that Ronnie was a all-pro in a lot of ways. I mean, he made, not that Ronnie's not a great player, but he just.
What's interesting to me is normally when you have a running back pushing 17, 18, 1900 yards, the quarterback's not throwing that much. And that's so impressive. The 7,000 total offensive yards, that's really impressive to me, because you got balance, and then you got like excellent balance. You ain't just got a 2,000-yard receiver and nothing else. You got balance throughout. I mean, who really thought Derrick Henry was gonna push 2,000 yards? We was expecting maybe 1,100, maybe 1,000, maybe 1,200. This man, if it wasn't for 2 games in the middle of the season, he'd probably have just as many yards as Saquon.
Yeah,
and he's still less than 100 behind.
Yeah,
and seemingly getting stronger down the stretch. At least if you see what he did in last week's game with 130 yards in the second half, and then you add the contributions, of course, of Justice Hill. While in the stat sheet might not wow you, but we know what he brings as that complimentary back to Derrick Henry, and what he brings as a pass protector. Certainly going to be a valuable piece going forward. And then receiving, finally had it, coach. Finally got a Pro Bowl receiver drafted and developed here as a Baltimore Raven. Just barely gets over that 1,000-yard mark. I think maybe expectations were maybe a little higher for Zay. I don't know if that's even fair to say, but turns those 116 targets into 74 yards. And then Rashad Bateman. I mean, Coach, I got to ask you, because you mentioned it with Zay Flowers before, you're right. And we lost a player like Zay, it would have been like, what the hell are we going to do? Like, we cannot afford to lose that guy. But right now, it doesn't feel like that's the sentiment. And I'm wondering, like, just how good has Rashad Bateman become? And, like, that connection that we thought him and Lamar just didn't have, it seems like they got it and then some. Who's, like, I mean, is this crazy to ask, but who is more important right now, Zay or Rashad?
I dare I say Rashad, and not just saying he's a better receiver than Zay. It's just he works. Like you're not throwing Rashad no bubbles. When Rashad Bateman getting the ball is down the field, and that's kind of what helps the run game. And just imagine if we had a for real burner that actually played. You couldn't play one safety. You'd have to play two. But
and what?
So I think they're going to try to load the box. But there's a stat out there that said Rashad Bateman, and I just saw it on my screen. Matter of fact, it's still on my screen, that he's the best at beating separation in the NFL. Now, I think part of that is play action, and because we get so open on that. But he's by far the best route runner on our team. He as far as the little nuances in and out of breaks and breaking stuff off and setting stuff up, he's by far the best route runner we have. Now, he's not the most explosive. That is by far Zay. But what he does for the offense, it's pretty darn important.
Yeah, they're so complimentary, I feel like, in the way they play football. And like you said, the way that Lamar and the offense can utilize the two of them, you add Mark in the mix of that, certainly potent combination there. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what he does. Now, I got to ask you guys a question really about news clipping stuff. I feel like, man, the Steelers are already chirping. Right?
Yeah, I wanted to play him. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Beanie Bishop.
What did you want, boys?
What Beanie said, he said, oh, well, I don't really care if we're a 9.5-point underdog because, we beat them the past 10 times until this past one.
I saw
like, dude, isn't he a rookie? Like, wasn't he not around for any, like, dude.
Claiming glory that other men have earned.
Can you imagine what's going to happen to him if Derrick Henry breaks one?
I got sent a clip today of Pat Queen getting absolutely ran over by Drew Sample of the Bengals, and it was one of the best videos I've ever seen. I put it on repeat about 10 times. Appreciate that. Whoever sent that clip to me. But yeah, they're chirping already, Jimbo. I saw the tackle running his mouth. Good. I'm glad
Jones?
it's Baltimore.
Yeah. Roderick
Jones. I believe it was.
He leads the league in giving up sacks. What is he talking about?
Hey, I tell you what, Adafa, go get yourself a 3-piece this game.
Yeah.
Damn it,
you're all for it now, huh?
You better get out there, bro. Come on, man.
Speaking of, how you feel?
Oh gosh, I'm doing okay. I had a fever for about 2.5 hours after the show. I mean, you guys saw me get hot. It got pretty bad. The next day wasn't great. Not until the evening. I had to call Glenn because I had an incident. It got pretty rough. So this might be unfamiliar to people, but as a religious practice, I fast once a month on Sunday for 24 hours. So that Saturday, I stopped eating after the Baconator and consuming water, right? So I didn't eat or drink again until about 5 p.m. the next day. So my stomach was pretty settled, right? Like I had an apple after the Baconator, went to bed, and then I woke up in the morning, went through the whole day fine, made dinner at night. I'm making dinner. And as I'm making dinner, it's around 5 o'clock. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to break my fast. So I break my fast and I have about 30 ounces of water. And it was all bad news after that. It was all bad. I can give you guys more
I know where you're going.
Yeah.
I know where you're going.
Let's just say the sweatpants have been officially retired.
Yep.
Is that correct?
They are done.
Okay.
They're up in the rafters.
Yeah, they're in a frame somewhere.
Because I honestly wasn't thinking about the potential damage that could be ensuing.
Yeah.
Because I'd kind of forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And it didn't go well.
Went to sleep on it. Yep. And then
didn't go well.
Bada bing, bada boom.
I'm doing okay though.
But the worst part's over.
Worst part's over. Back at it. Look, I told Glenn I've taken this as an opportunity to up my game. Now I'm eating even healthier and looking to. So I'm glad it happened.
Yeah, buddy. I'm glad it did too. Let me tell you, I am so glad it did.
You want to run them that
Hell
pocket.
no.
Cole's been putting in the miles, dude. Cole's been putting in the miles.
I know,
bro.
man. What's going on with Cole, man? He don't let the cold stop him. He's Canadian. He don't let
might
the
be a
cold
tough
slow
out,
his
dude.
exercise down. God dang, Cole. I saw this weather. I said, it's hard to get out there and run. It's hard to get out there and hit the miles, you know? But yeah, Cole's a better man than me. He's a bigger and better man. But hey, before I leave here, Keaton Mitchell did see a little bit from him as a kick returner. Do you think going in the playoff if Justice is healthy, do you think Keaton takes his role back as just primarily a special teamer?
I think so. I think maybe he'll get 3-4 touches because he's been had to play the last couple of weeks, so Justice been out. But I think he'll get 3 or 4 touches. He don't need about 4 or 5. That's it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
A kickoff return, maybe a inside zone or outside zone. But let's just hammer him with Henry and throw him in there every now and then kind of put Justice in his role as well.
I like that. I like that. And I'm hoping that he can be one of those X factors in this offense. Now, Coach, I got to ask you this. This might be my last question for you, but I want to talk about Brandon Stevens. I want to talk about Nate Wiggins.
Mm-hmm.
Nate Wiggins has certainly developed and he's really he's really come around as a player that we can depend upon as one of our best outside corner at this point. Obviously, Marlon's having a great season, but he's found a home there at nickel, which we already kind of knew Marlon was going to do. So talk to me about what you've seen in Nate's game. And on the other side, two-part question. So I want to know about Nate, but I also want to know, is there something that Brandon Stevens is from a technique standpoint is doing different that's causing him to get so many penalties? Or is it simply, is he being refereed different? I know he's being targeted more this year, but is it something that you believe can be fixed going into this postseason? So I'd love to know about Nate and about Stevens based on your take.
Nate has been progressing from day one. The fact that he was, kind of initially he wasn't the starter, but when our Darius went down, that allowed him to be the starter and move Marlo inside. So Nate has been progressing from the jump, and you see, him calm down. You see him not get as panicky when the ball's in the air. Even the week before he got the pick six, he was defending somebody in the Houston game, and just like when the ball came and he realized he couldn't catch it, instead of grabbing, pulling, tucking, he just let off of it. So he's been gradually getting better each game, and then that pick six was a combination of that. And I think Nate's going to be one of the better cornerbacks in the NFL in the next 4 to 5 years. I think he has that pedigree in him. Now, as far as Brandon Stevens, I think Brandon this year went to he's like, okay, forget the interceptions. I'm just going to, try to stay in phase and play through the hands. Well, most of the year, he was kind of sort of doing that, and people were making just spectacular catch upon spectacular catch upon spectacular catch. Now it's to the point where they're just like, okay, 21 out there, I'm throwing it over there. And this is, I finally, because I defended the man most of the season, but I broke week 18. Because it literally looked like Cleveland was saying, where's Stevens? Okay, I'm throwing it there. No matter what receiver was over there. So Trey he's gonna have to have a healthy dose of Trey to go in there. But I mean, he ain't terrible. He just don't play the ball.
Right.
And even if he had if he got beat a couple times, fine. He's a DB. But if he could just get a PBU, tip a ball up, let us get an interception, he has negated some kind of way by helping the defense and not just being a liability. Because when you look at it, he is the only real liability. You can say, hey, he sucks. Let's get him on defense. He's the only one.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Yeah, he's got me a little nervous heading into the play. But the good thing is with the secondary we have, I do think that the coaching staff could do a decent job in trying to hide the guy, or at least try and give help to him to where he's not, killing the team. Because something's got to change there. But how do I? Let me throw this back up real quick. How crazy is it that Roquan, after the doubts, after the whispers that this guy's too old, he's done, he's slow, he ends up with 154 daggone tackles by the end of the year, just like we all thought he would when the year started. And then Kyle Hamilton, takes over as a big time communicator on the back end of that defense, has 107 tackles, which is second on the team, continues to just to become one of the very best, if not the best safety in the NFL. And then you guys talked a little bit. Marlon Humphrey, got to give this guy a little bit of shout out here. He gets 6 interceptions on the season, has 3 sacks, 67 total tackles, and all 67, I bet, were pretty damn physical. This guy was bringing it all season long. And then Adarius Washington. I mean, holy smokes, Jimbo. We've been wanting this guy to have an opportunity since he got here, and thought that his size might be too much for him to overcome. Like from just a visual standpoint, from where the coaches want to trust to put a guy that small in, and also can he hold up from an injury perspective? And look at him now. I mean, one of the very most important pieces on this team, and a big reason why this team was able to turn around, huh, Jimbo?
Yeah, man, that's been absolutely huge for us and for him. And I think the best part about it is, I think he's just, I don't know if the word is basic. I guess he's just playing fundamental football. He's running fast. He's hitting, he's making tackles. He's not blowing assignments. It's just crazy how, I mean, I talk about this often outside of football and other contexts. Like Tim Duncan wasn't spectacular. Like Tim Duncan was spectacular at everything that was normal. Right? Like Tim had the most boring game in the world, and then he'll drop 28, 15, and 4 blocks. Right? Like, on 80% shooting or something stupid like that. I'll go 10 for 12 from the line too. Like, my point is that Ardarius is playing really well, but he's just limiting mistakes is a big part of that. And I think what that does is it allows the other guys to take a breath. I think you talked about it, Glenn. Kyle Hamilton, has taken on a bigger role in the communication piece. And if you notice, in the early part of the season, this is just something that I recall. I don't know if this is actually the case, something I saw on TV, but I feel like Rowe would be screaming at guys and pointing fingers, doing this and that, literally up to the snap.
One guy in particular.
Yeah, you're talking about, oh my gosh, Trent.
Yep.
Yeah, and like up to the snap, right? Like to the last minute. And then he's like, oh, shoot, now I got to be an all-pro. You know what I mean? I feel like he's doing a lot less of that now. In fact, in this Cleveland game, Board, a subtle memory that I have is Board came in late because they were making substitutions on defense. And he looked over at him, just did a little like, hey, right there, Eric. And then he just looked forward, but he was not overly concerned about the situation.
Right.
But so I guess to what I'm trying to say is Ardarius, I think, has helped people calm down and allow people to play their roles, right? Like he's not Ed Reed out there, right? But certainly he's making a massive impact by just playing mistake-free football. Not mistake-free, limiting mistakes.
Yeah, not only that, though, if you think about it, Ardarius has made 3 game-changing plays in the games he's in.
Yep.
The fumble on Russ.
Big one.
The interception versus the Giants. And then tackling Joe Mixon on the Christmas game.
Yep.
All 3 of those plays were crucial in momentum swings and kind of propelled us to do
and all stuff. Different.
In different ways.
Yep.
Doesn't he just find his way around the football?
Yeah, not 3 picks. We're talking about a pick, a forced fumble, and then just a big tackle.
Just finds his way to be around the football, man.
What a fun player to root for and watch.
Yep.
And then, Coach, about this front seven, a lot was made about, can this pass rush group, are they good enough now with Clowney gone, and then the absence of Mike McDonald and what his scheme meant to this team and leading the league in sacks. And by year's end, Nnamdi Madubuike ends up with 6.5. Kyle Van Noy, the timeless vet, puts in 12.5. And then Odafe gets right on the number of 10. Gotta love to see it. And, of course, we get contributions from Tavius with 3.5 and others like Broderick with 2. But do you look at this as a pass rush group that's all you need? Because things change in the playoffs. This second season, this tournament, play styles are different, just like any playoff tournament. Play styles are different. Things change. And we do see teams that are able to win with a 4-man pass rush and drop 7 into coverage typically go far in the playoffs. Do you think this team is good enough to do just that, drop 7 and get to the quarterback with just 4?
In a situation, if we couldn't stop the run, I don't think so. But I think we're so good at stopping the run that puts people in one-dimensional situations. And are we going to get to the quarterback? Not as efficient as some, but we come up with timely sacks. And because we do a good job of stopping the run, and we're going to rush forward with all the different stunts and twists and whatever. I think we're going to manufacture pressure. And with Travis and Madubuike, those 2 guys gonna be the catalyst of whatever. Even they may not get the sacks, but as long as they command double teams, then you get one-on-ones with Owe and Van Noy and whoever else is out there at the edge. And they just got to win their one-on-ones. Unless if it's an elite tackle, you can understand that. But if they got Joe Blow at tackle, you got to win those.
Like Roderick out there.
Like this week.
Yeah, exactly. And a quarterback that likes to hold the ball.
Let's
be honest, right? Russ will hold on to the ball. He'll take the hits. He'll take the chances.
Hey, Jimbo, quickly on that. I have a sneaky suspicion. Is there what's the health of Justin Fields? Is there any chance? See, if I'm Mike Tomlin, this team is nosediving. Weren't they like 6-1 with Fields in the
4-2?
4-2. Okay. I mean, if I'm is there any fear that he could slip in maybe more than just the Justin Fields package, but maybe even potential quick hook replacement if things?
But then how do you what they found some instant success it's lost, but like then you just keep being the same team that you were, I guess, with a marginally better rush offense.
Much better rush offense
against the best rushing defense statistically in the NFL.
I mean, having that quarterback as a runner, it makes a little difference.
Changes things, right?
Yeah, it could be a spark, right? Like I don't know, man. I don't know. We are what's his name might just decide not to play. Who's the receiver?
Pickens.
Pickens.
Yeah.
Oh, temper tantrum Pickens. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think about that, Coach? You think there could be a potential Justin Fields presence?
Yeah, I'm sure he'll play some, especially in like short yardage situations, so they can use that read option type stuff. But if he hadn't been healthy enough to do anything much lately, so I don't think they would like hinge. I think they'll just go down with the ship with Russ.
Yeah,
because Fields hadn't played in the past, or even dressed out in the past 2 or 3 weeks, and other than some short yardage stuff, I don't think they'll just wholesale go like that. Now desperation they may, but I just don't think they will.
Yeah, I just
figure if it's ugly bad early, maybe. But as long as they got a chance, I think, and it's close, they'll go with Russ until it gets crazy.
Go with Russ. Well, hey, I gotta get your take on the offensive line. We saw some shuffling this past week and led to some fans thinking that there might be a potential for a different combination at offensive line. What's your take on what you've seen the last couple of weeks, and what do you think the 5 is going into the playoffs?
So we finally got to see Ben Cleveland play, and he was average at best. He played better the later part of those 18 snaps than he did the first part of them. But and then Voorhees got most of the snaps when Mekari went out, and actually Voorhees looked fairly decent. He looked a lot better than Mekari has been looking over these past couple of weeks. But I don't know if they going to want to take Mekari out because they seem to have some kind of loyalty to him. They started him at right tackle, moved him into left guard. And normally you don't lose your spot to injury unless you are Darius Washington. But I think he should lose that spot because Voorhees looked really good, and you can always put him in if you need to if it ain't working, because you got to deal with the monster in there. And Haywood just was throwing him around like a rag doll last time.
Yeah,
at least Voorhees is stronger.
Yep. No,
yeah.
I say that. Yep.
That's fair. Now, okay, this is actually my last question. The penalties. Where are you at this point? Glenn, read him the statistics.
I was good to this last game.
Yeah.
Read him about these referees, Glenn, and tell me how you're feeling afterward, Coach.
Yeah, so the worry that Jimmy's feeling is the current crew that's scheduled to work this weekend is number 1 in multiple categories, including offensive holding, defensive holding, and face mask penalties. They also rank 3rd in roughing the passer calls. So yeah, what do you think? How big of a role could penalties play in this weekend's matchup?
They're gonna play. It's gonna be big. It's gonna be big because we had got it down to week 17, week 16, 2 each game, if I'm not mistaken, and then we jumped back up to like 12. And it's not. I don't think it's something that's per se fixable because it's all different kinds of penalties. It's not all holding. It's not all defensive holding. It's not all PI. It's any kind of penalty that you can think of. We have 1 or 2 of them. So I don't think it's something that you can go and say, hey, we need to work on offensive holding or PI or whatever. It's just because it's sprinkled in. But the fact is, when we get 2nd and 15, 2nd and 20 or whatever, that hurts us. And as explosive as we is on offense, We struggle once we get behind the sticks. Our strength is staying in front of the sticks, constantly getting something on each play, and then getting you in a short yard situation, then busting one.
Yeah,
but the
Jimmy's
refs will
play
a huge part in, especially for Matt BK.
Yeah, no roughing the Ravens lead the league in roughing the passer calls, and this team is third. By the way, that team is led by Alex Kemp, who is the head referee. I believe. Yeah, and in addition,
that's right. I saw it earlier. That's right.
Yeah, Brad Rogers and Novak. So, yeah, and then DK's got a question. What's your confidence right now in Justin Tucker as we head into the season? Any different than 3 weeks ago? Any different?
Nah, I'm good with Tuck. I mean, if they run him out there, if he misses it, I Tuck's the GOAT. I don't want him to miss it, but I would not change at this point, in his career or in the season. It is what it's going to be. What it's going to be.
Yeah.
But I think we did a good job of. I don't even think he attempted a field goal this last game, did it?
No, 5 extra
so
points.
My thing is just go 35 again, and leave him over there. Let him kick extra points.
Yeah, there you go.
100%
when you get touchdowns. Yeah,
that's right. Well, Coach, we appreciate it, man. I'm with you there with Tuck as well. I'm glad to see one of us is. But
you don't?
I'm still nervous. I'm still nervous, man. I need to see him make one that matters before I'm
this
like.
This is the thing. The playoffs is more familiar territory for Tuck. He's gonna be more comfortable than the regular season. You see what I'm saying?
So I got a theory. This is my theory about Tuck. Texas has a young guy that's down there breaking all his records, and he was worried about it.
For real, he's pissed.
Hey, can be preoccupied by it.
Well, look, he's got enough to worry about here in Baltimore. He don't have to worry about what's going on in Texas. But yeah. Shout out to Tucker. Don't ruin this for us, Tuck. Don't do it.
You remember what Nurmagomedov said about?
Man, you nailed his name. Shout out, Jimbo.
Yeah, do you remember what he said about fighting guys into late rounds? And his response to Connor, and Connor saying, "I only take knockouts as wins."
Oh,
and he talked about. He said his comment in response was, "I'll take you into deep waters until you discover yourself."
I remember that. Yeah.
Right. Like that's just bone. Like so, because he'll take you to the 5th round, then just submit you,
or just smash you.
Because when he said it, the UFC people start using that as a reference after he said it.
Yeah. And I love that. So look, this is deep water for kickers now. Who's gonna swim?
We're gonna find out.
I'll
tell you what, that holder and snapper better be on their game too, because who's gonna get the blame. It's gonna be tough.
Stout. Yep.
Stout was the one that was blaming.
Yeah, he was getting a lot of it too. That's true. That's true.
But the fans in the stadium, if they see a missed kick, they're gonna be booing down Tucker's name.
And people have been proud of Stout or happy with Stout since he made that. Was that 2 games ago? He made that catch and brought it in. On the snap, it was a little errant. It was a little high and off, to the left or whatever. Yeah, that was tough, man. Yeah. But no, Coach, we appreciate your time as always. We're looking forward to this game. And you do anything special this week? Got anything going on? Extra stuff that you can tell the folks about? Where they can find you, stuff like that?
You can find me at Sip the Tally Films and all your social medias except for X. At X is Coach Evans 9. And I got the live stream. Like if you can't go to the game, jump in the live stream with me and we talk about it while it's going on and throw ideas off and have fun and just it's like we at the bar, but we just can't actually reach out and touch each other. So come through the live stream if you're not actually going to the game.
Let's go. Love it. Thank you so much, Coach. We appreciate it. And we'll be certainly talking to you soon, hopefully after a dub, man.
Hopefully. No, we are going to get talking.
Let's go. All right. I like that. Thank you.
Appreciate y'all, man. Yeah, have a good one.
Time. Yep, you too.
Nice. Yeah, man. I tell you what, Jimbo, I've been literally thinking about this game nonstop. It is definitely going to be, I think, the most exciting. I mean, first of all, I hope it's a decent game.
Yeah.
Because and it kind of feels weird to say, like, I don't want us to just blow them out of the water. Like, I want this to be a decent game. Adds to the drama. I want to. DK's like, I'll take a blow. Yeah, yes. I mean, I hear you, but nothing like winning a game where it's like exciting throughout. Something could happen. Some people were falling asleep. I mean, the Browns game, I don't even know if my father made it to the end of that game. He was just his feet up, relaxed, snoozing. I don't want a snoozer.
Dude, Glenn, I'm gonna make you. Oh, who froze, DK? Me or Glenn? Glenn? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'm the complete opposite of Glenn, ladies and gentlemen. I want to see the demoralized faces of Steelers fans. Am I still going, DK? Am I still live? Okay, cool. Of Steelers fans at the stadium on Saturday night. I want the snow to be coming down, to be able to look at the lights and then the reflection off of their faces, just demoralized, right? Like I want to smash them until they're so quiet that you could drop, and obviously you're not going to be able to hear a pin drop because we're going to be at home, but they are so quiet. Every time something good happens for them, they don't even clap anymore, right? They're just so out of it. That's absolutely what I want. Yeah, let's get some of these super chats here. Mossy, I have the same feeling going into this game as the Browns. Not worried. No excuse to not curb stomp this poor Steelers. Denver with rookie should be bigger threat to Bills and closer game. Mossy, I'm with you. In a lot of ways. However, being that it's the playoffs and it's a well-coached team with a good defense, it still makes me nervous, right? Like, it still makes me nervous. I don't know if I'm as far convicted of a victory as I was for the Browns game. Hey, he's back from the dead. Glenn, did you hear what I was saying? How I was explaining that I want the exact opposite of you. I want the Steelers fans to be so demoralized that they need to be put on antidepressants.
I mean,
like straight up, dude, just so miserable. I want it to be snowy and cold and they're just walking to their car in slow motion and it's a 2-mile walk.
Yeah, but they're going to have that either way. Look,
no, but like halftime, right? And the Ravens are celebrating and they're just.
Okay, all right. Well, look, I want a little excitement, okay?
Like Johnny that brings the poster, he's 10. My first playoff game, and he's a Steelers fan. It shows him on TV, and they're getting walloped.
Don't do that. Xavier says, should I go to the game? I'm conflicted. Absolutely, if you have the opportunity to go to the game. You're talking about potentially the loudest game in the history of Baltimore. I mean, what are we talking about? A Steelers game is always different. Now you're talking about a playoff game and a night game on top of that.
Yep.
It is going to be an absolute madhouse in there. Emo says our strength is in our D tackles. Well, certainly in a game like this where a team needs to run the ball, the Steelers cannot win a game if they don't run the ball and establish the run game. And our D tackles make it virtually impossible. When you think about the 3 that we can cycle, really 4 when you include Broderick into the picture with Meta, BK, Travis Jones. I mean, these guys are absolutely game wreckers, and we have them all on one team. My only thing that always makes me a little upset, I just seen them again this past weekend making plays still in a what turned out to be a meaningless game. Calais Campbell was still out there balling for Miami last weekend, and it just pisses me off because we had a trade set with him to bring him back. And then after that, there was anticipation he would just be released so he could go pursue his Super Bowl ring. But no, they kept him. They kept him for that too, because that owner is just a clown. So we should even be deeper. But the point is, we're already really, really good there. So we don't necessarily need him.
Yeah, no, it would have been nice to have, but I agree with you. I mean, we got some boys up there. Let's see here. DDSK, probably DDSQ. I don't know. What's good, y'all? Love the show, the narratives, and Theo's year. Am I missing something? It's
the narratives end this year.
Okay, I got you. All right, nice. Yeah, it starts Saturday night. Yeah, I hope we can slay some dragons, man. I think that's what this playoffs is about. Let's take the hill this year. Absolutely dominate from beginning to end. This is when the season starts. So yeah, I'm with you there, man. Let's go, baby.
Yeah,
Let's see. Don C says it's crazy how retired Steelers are calling out the current team. Big Ben's podcast had the top 7 quarterbacks. Lamar 1, Burrow 2, Allen 3, Mahomes 4, Mahomes 4. Yeah, Goff 5, Darnold 6. He also had the Ravens winning this week.
Jim, how would you feel if you're a Steelers fan? I mean, I imagine what Steelers fans must look at Big Ben is like. I mean, he's like Ray Lewis to them, right? I mean, I don't know. What do you think they look at him as?
The hard thing is that they were such a historical franchise beforehand.
Yeah.
That
but say people our age, fans our age.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Yeah, he's
not Steel Curtain fans. I'm talking our age.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
How must
this hurt them to watch him heap the amount of praise that he is right now on the Ravens, saying they're playing so well, we're playing horrible. They have the most ridiculous quarterback. He ranks Lamar as his number 1. Like, if I heard Ray, doing all this in the opposite direction, I'd be like, Ray, shut the hell up. You're supposed to ride with us no matter what. You never go against the family. Never go against the family.
I mean, yeah. That's a good point. I mean, I would it would feel weird.
Right?
You know what I mean? It would just feel weird. But at the same time, Ben could just be setting this up. Right? Like, doesn't Tomlin do this thing where he like overly is complimentary towards Lamar? You know, maybe this is just an extension of that to try and like lower his
well, that's
fire.
The team's responsibility, but not. Is it Ben's?
I mean, he look, if he's always rides with family, if this is the way he thinks he can do it.
Yeah, I guess so.
It could just all be a troll job, just a setup, right?
I wouldn't be a happy camper if I got a legend the status of Big Ben.
I hear you.
Complimenting, he was giving too much praise. I felt uncomfortable as a Ravens fan hearing it. Like, dang, my man Big Ben is showing some appreciation and not showing any bias whatsoever. I was pretty shocked. I was pretty shocked about that. But yeah, I mean, this game this weekend, Jimbo, is going to be it's going to be one of the funnest games I think in franchise history.
Let's go, dude. I can't disagree with you more, Glenn. It, like you said, sorry. Let me get to Tom Votto and then I'll get to my soliloquy here. Any chance we can have Mama Jackson on the sidelines, keep Lamar in check, dude. Whatever it's got to be. But I think Lamar's so locked in right now, Tom. I wouldn't be concerned about it. They might have like a third channel on the headset that goes right to her cell.
Dude, that would be awesome.
Every once in a while, right? Like just in case you're trucker 99, trucker 9, right? Like you start to hear like Mama Jackson, you know, and then she just bleep, 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 run the ball, bleep, bleep, and that's it, right? That would be great. But I don't think it's necessary. I think Lamar's locked in. He's much more mature as a player. And I think he's got all he needs between the ears.
Yeah, he's not even celebrating his 28th birthday today. He said he's too locked in.
Hey, that's all right.
You know what I mean? He said, I don't need to I can celebrate after this Super Bowl win that I'm on to get. But yeah, man, what a great time to be a Ravens fan, man.
What a great time. You're right, Glenn. I just want to say that I think we were hopeful that this would happen in the last 4 weeks of the season, and we set ourselves up for success the best way that we could in the last month and change of football. So let's go out there and reap the rewards of the hard work we've put in as a team. Seeking Kings of the Seas says we're smacking the Steelers. So saith I, seeking. I don't know if there's a reference to that. I don't know what it is, but so say I. I, Captain. How about that? There you go.
My man predicting a whooping. I hope you're right. I mean, I do. But I kind of
Are you really a King of the Sea, though, Sea King? Like, are you on a ship right now in the middle of the sea? Do you own
Starlink right now? Internet.
Right. Like, have you gone around the world in a sailboat?
Is your steering wheel this big?
Right. That's what we want to know. Like, or are you at home? Like, are you the true King of the Sea? You know, Glenn and I have been in some treacherous waters. You got to have some cojones on you to be King of the Sea now.
Did you see? Now, let me just say this. Did me and Jimmy lose our lunch that afternoon?
Nope.
Not us. Did about 80% of the boat to more? That's right.
I'll never forget this. This is not normal whale behavior. Do you remember?
Yeah.
The lady was freaking out.
First of all, I mean, what we're talking about is that we were on a whale watching experience once. And look, the captain tried to warn everyone. Nobody heeded his warnings.
Except my wife.
Oh, that's true. Well, yeah, your wife was pregnant and she listened and said, you know what? You're right. And I'm going to reschedule. And man, everyone else on that boat probably should have. And I would say, how many people were on that boat? Let's say roughly
100?
100 people. I'd say 80 of those 100.
Easy. There was only
disasters.
Like 10 to 12 of us in the front.
And then, by the way, it happened to be the greatest whale watching that the captain has seen in a decade.
Yeah, I think we had 32 viewings of 21 different whales.
And a sea lion, babies, you name it, we saw it. And those 80 people were just crying and throwing up. It's really sad. It was really sad. But anyway, he says, he wears an eye patch. Enough said.
Matey, let's go, dude.
By the way, Jimbo, I bet you didn't think I'd have a pirate hat ready.
What?
I mean, I bet you didn't think I'd have one handy.
Why do you have a pirate hat?
I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, gosh. Is this a Mr. Jim situation?
I'm just saying, man, you got to spice. I mean, hold on. Hold on.
Get the Santa suit out, dude.
Dude, look at what I just did to my. I will. I, by the way, do have a Santa suit, and I'm just not going to go get it. Yar, that's right. That's right. Gosh. That's right.
I done lost my mind.
Hey, you know what a pirate's favorite letter is, right?
R?
It's the C. You know? What? C, dude.
Dude, that's such a dad joke.
It was, dude. It was. Well, I'm a dad. I am one of those.
Yes.
But look, we have more important things to announce here, Jimbo, right?
Yes,
we got to announce last week's competition results, and we'll start with the fan winner. This week's fan winner is
Jason Moyer. Let's go, baby. Shout out. Jason's won it before.
Last
year? Was it last year?
Last year. It is odd that I had a pirate hat there, right?
It is.
Really kind of weird.
It is, yeah.
That came up and I had one handy in arm's length. Arm's reach, I should say. But yeah, shout out to Jason Moyer. If you haven't, if we don't already have, we probably already have it, but just to make it easier to
for
bring
good
it
measure,
back to the top of the timeline, if you could message us your information,
please
we
do.
Appreciate it.
Definitely.
Maryland, Texas was shut out this year. Well, I know you won last year, Maryland, Texas. So you got to keep trying. You know, look, I lost this year, DK, this guy, but I'm not going to stop trying to beat him.
That's right.
Okay.
That's all you can do.
Maybe one day, if we stop letting him create all the advantages to him winning, then maybe me or Jimmy can unsee him as the winner.
That's right. All you can do is win or learn.
That's right. And I'm learning. Doing a lot of learning.
It's my whole life.
It's just a bunch of learning.
I told my wife today, I was like, pretty sure my life is just a series of mistakes. I've only made like a couple good, like that I know of verifiable good decisions. I wonder if other people actually feel this way. Like, I feel like there's other people who just outwardly always get it right. You know what I'm saying? I
hate those people.
But like, dude, I can think of two things that I know I made the right decisions on. Outside of that, full on mistakes.
Well, you could add 3: friendship with Glenn.
True. And that's true. That's true.
Check.
Gotta check that one off the box.
Gotta check that one on, man. I mean,
let's go, baby.
You're on my list. Your name's on there.
Dude, starting the podcast, dude.
Cha-ching.
That's right. You know, that was a great decision.
Oh, letting DK? I mean, but would it start as writing for us?
Dude, how many people have we gone wrong with? DK, our first one, we hit the jackpot, bro.
Jackpot.
Jeez whiz.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. But look, guys, we're going to be back here in the not too distant. Oh, hold on. Our show winner. We got to announce our winners.
Oh.
To see if you caught me or if I finished in sole second place and you finished dead last. Or if we tied for second behind the almighty DK.
Okay.
All right, DK. Who won? Please tell. Oh, we're going to go through it? Just tell me. Yes! Yes! The People's Champ. I didn't just win the Baconator Challenge. I won the final week of the regular season to boot, putting me just one behind. Is that how I ended? One behind the champion DK, but most importantly, one ahead or two ahead of Jimbo.
That's hilarious. Look, I go big or go home. I stick with my convictions. It just didn't work tonight or the other night, whatever.
Or any time this season.
Yeah.
Well, it worked a couple times.
Yeah, I've gotten some predictions right.
Yeah, here and there. But look, I think that we need to announce it now.
What's that?
Next time. Okay, so we do have plans to have a playoff competition that we will certainly announce in our Thursday preview show, which we will. I mean, I cannot wait to do this preview show. We are excited to bring it to you to get you all set up for everything. We've already done 2 Steelers matchups, so we're gonna have to take an extra deep dive into this one to really get down and kind of, get you all the matchups, the details, the what ifs and what coulds, and man, I can't wait to get into it, Jimbo.
Let's go. Make sure you guys join us. I believe, unless you guys have any qualms, we're going to do Thursday night, of course, because it's a Saturday game. So make sure you guys join us. We'll be here on Thursday night. Come ready to go with any questions you guys may have. Any other comments, of course, bring the heat, and we'll do the same. That's it for us tonight, folks. We'll talk to you soon.